Oliver, a tiny gray mouse with big round ears, lived in a cozy little hole in the wall of a suburban family's bedroom. He shared his home with his older brother Benny, who was a bit of a loudmouth, literally. Benny had a habit of snoring so loudly that it could wake up the entire neighborhood. Well, at least that's how it felt to Oliver, who was just 6 months old and loved his sleep more than anything. Their mouse hole was tucked behind a baseboard in a 10-year-old boy's room, filled with action figures, Lego sets, and a faint smell of peanut butter sandwiches. It wasn't much, but it was home. Every night, Oliver would curl up in his little bed made of shredded tissue and dream of giant wheels of cheddar cheese, creamy brie, and sharp Gouda. But just as he was about to take a bite in his dream, snore! Benny's rumbling snore would jolt him awake. "Benny, can't you keep it down?" Oliver would groan, rubbing his eyes. But Benny, being the heavy sleeper he was, never even noticed. After weeks of interrupted sleep, Oliver decided he'd had enough. "I need my own space," he muttered one night, packing a tiny backpack with a few crumbs of cheese and a piece of string he used as a blanket. "I'm going to find a new home where I can sleep in peace." The next morning, Oliver kissed Benny on the cheek, who was still snoring, of course, and set off on his adventure. He squeezed through a crack in the wall and found himself in the boy's bedroom. The room was a minefield of toys: Hot Wheels cars, a half-built robot, and a teddy bear that looked like it had seen better days. Oliver tiptoed around, careful not to step on anything that might squeak or crunch. He made his way to the door, which was slightly ajar, and slipped into the hallway. The hallway was lined with family photos and a long, plush carpet that felt like walking on clouds. Oliver scurried past the bathroom, where he could hear the faint drip of a leaky faucet, and down the stairs to the living room. The living room was huge compared to his little mouse hole. A giant flat-screen TV hung on the wall, and a comfy-looking sofa sat in the middle of the room. Oliver's eyes lit up when he spotted a small hole in the wall behind the sofa. "This could be perfect," he whispered to himself. Oliver squeezed into the hole and found it was just the right size for him. He spent the next hour decorating his new home with bits of fluff he found under the sofa and a shiny wrapper from a candy bar. He even made a little sign that said Oliver's Place and hung it above the entrance. But just as he was about to take a nap, the human family came into the living room and turned on the TV. The volume was so loud that the walls seemed to vibrate. Oliver covered his ears, but it was no use. "Ugh, this is worse than Benny's snoring," he groaned. He grabbed his backpack and decided to keep looking. Next, Oliver made his way to the kitchen. The smell of freshly baked cookies wafted through the air, making his stomach growl. He spotted a small hole behind the refrigerator and thought it might be a quiet spot. After all, who would bother him back there? He squeezed in and found it was surprisingly cozy, with just enough room for his bed and a little shelf for his cheese stash. But as soon as he settled in, the man of the house started washing dishes. The clanging of pots and pans echoed through the kitchen, and the hum of the refrigerator motor was like a constant buzz in Oliver's ears. "This is never going to work," he sighed, packing up his things once again. Oliver decided to try his luck upstairs. He climbed back up the stairs and found himself in the bathroom. The room was quiet for now, and he spotted a small hole near the sink. "This could be it," he thought, squeezing inside. He arranged his belongings and was just about to doze off when the shower turned on. The sound of rushing water was deafening, and the steam made the air feel heavy and damp. Oliver coughed and waved his tiny paws in front of his face. "Nope, not here either," he said, grabbing his backpack and heading back to the hallway. By now, Oliver was exhausted. He had been searching for hours and hadn't found a single place where he could sleep peacefully. As he made his way back to the bedroom, he noticed that the boy had cleaned up his toys. The room looked much neater, and the faint smell of peanut butter was still there. Oliver felt a pang of nostalgia as he approached his old mouse hole. He peeked inside and saw Benny still snoring away, with a half-eaten cheese sandwich next to him. Benny woke up just as Oliver was climbing back into the hole. "Oliver, you're back," Benny exclaimed, giving his little brother a big hug. "Where have you been? I was so worried." Oliver smiled and told Benny all about his adventures: the living room, the kitchen, the bathroom, and all the noise he had encountered. Benny lisped,